Hi, everybody. Welcome to Small Town Big Gays. We are the gays who are too big for how small of a town we're in. I'm Chance.
I'm Travis.
And we are joined today by a very special guest. Let's see if I can get this intro right. I was practicing it in the car. Shame-slaying, hip-swaying, singer-songwriting drag queen, Billboard charting, award-winning. Right?
You went deep.
Right? I went deep.
Oh, sorry. I should talk into this. You went deep.
Flamy Grant is here with us today.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here.
It's a treat.
We love it. Yeah, we're really excited to have you. So Flamy is in town doing a tour. You're doing like a little Midwest tour right now.
Sure am.
Yeah.
Just came from Appleton, Wisconsin, the Mile of Music Festival. Which, have y'all been to that ever?
I've never been, but I went to college around there, so I'm aware of it.
You gotta go to the festival. It is like, I've done a handful of festivals now, and this is like the one. It's so well run, it's so efficient, and it's just cool because you get to like, it's literally a mile of music. You know, you walk from venue to venue, and you can catch all kinds of music, and it's free. It's like completely free to the public.
We love free things.
We love free.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I have never been. I used to, back in the day, we used to travel over to like the Green Bay Appleton area a lot to do drag because there wasn't a huge drag scene in Eau Claire at that point. We just had like our one monthly show, so we'd have to travel all over the state to do that. But since we now have multiple drag shows in town,
I love that.
Monthly, I don't really travel as much anymore. So
come on, Eau Claire.
Yeah, we're moving on up.
I love it.
We really are. So should we just hop right into it?
Yeah, love it. We're going to get deep. We're going to ask lots of really serious questions. This is a very serious podcast.
Okay.
So,
Professional podcasters.
yeah, no joking. Everything's serious.
I'm ready, Barbara Walters.
I have a friend who used to do drag with us and an avid listener, so she's going to love this story, but she used to get wasted and then would like just start interviewing straight couples at the gay bar after bar close, and I'd always be like, all right. But I can't remember if I called her Barbara Walters or Diane Sawyer. I'd be like, all right, enough questions. We don't need to be knowing about this.
Listen, Katie Curran.
Yeah, like we've had it. The straight people have had their platform enough. We don't need to know more about them.
Yeah. So let's just start from the beginning. Where are you from? Tell us a little bit about young Flamy Grant.
Well, I'm from Asheville, North Carolina, born and raised in the Blue Ridge Mountains. We came up in the sticks, like we were out in the country. We had goats and a creek that ran through the property, and that is what we did. We hung out with goats and played in the creek.
Incredible.
Growing up. And church, that's the other defining feature of my upbringing. My family was super fundamentalist, conservative, evangelical, Bible Belt, the whole nine.
Plymouth Brethren?
Oh my gosh.
I did my research.
What is going on?
I did my research.
You did some research. Plymouth Brethren was that was the name of the denomination, although they would like not call themselves a denomination because they're so self-righteous about it. They're like, no. We're the one true church. Like, we're the one true church of Jesus, and period. That's it. And so they don't even acknowledge, like, you know, Baptists as being Christians. We were that kind of like
deep.
It was it's this weird mix of deep self-loathing that comes from the whole, like, we're all fallen sinners doctrine. And so we have to hate ourselves. And, you know, the only reason we have a chance is because God saves us. God intercedes and saves us, coupled with this like hoity-toity, high and mighty, we're the best Christians because we are the ones who have it right, you know? So it's like this, it was such a weird mix of, I hate myself, but also you are garbage too, because you're not in our church. Yeah. So it was a weird mess. And it took a long time to extricate myself from all that. But yeah, I went to a Christian school where my mom was a teacher. So like, I was just very sheltered, very under the watchful eye at all times. I was the oldest, so I was the goody golden child. I had to do everything right always. And I did. I mean, I literally lived into that. Like, I always tried to be the best Christian, the best kid, get the best grades, all the things. And that's exhausting.
Yeah. It sounds exhausting.
Yeah.
It's an exhausting way to live. And so, slowly but surely found my way into depravity and mediocrity.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
No, not mediocrity.
Love that.
I did not mean to go at the mediocrity part.
I'm just agreeing with myself because that's where I'm at.
Listen.
I'm fine with it. I like the mediocrity.
Yeah,
That's,
like it's
I'm fine
a
with that.
safe place to live. Like if you can make your living, do it, mama.
I actually we do like this big drag show here every year at the university called the Fireball. And there's about like between 700 and 1,000 people that come each night. We do it Friday and Saturday night. It's this huge production. And I wanted to poke fun at the Make America Great Again. So I had this hat made that said Make Drag Mediocre Again because I want to go back to mall drag.
Yes.
Via 2009 when I started. It's just like, I want to go to Charlotte Russe and buy a dress and a shake and go wig and be good,
Come on. Yeah. And entertain the folks and get your coin and call it a night. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. So I'm bringing that back. That's my slogan. Make drag mediocre again. So
She came out on the stage with that hat, by the way, and the crowd just goes silent.
yeah, I had like the aviator shades and a camouflage dress on.
Yeah.
I really went for the bit.
It was a moment.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're like, where's our flips? Where's our stunts and our death drops?
And I gave them none of that because they're not getting that from me ever. So
me neither.
I like to,
those days are behind me.
yeah, I just like to poke fun at people. I don't really even lip sync that much anymore. I just harass people. That's kind of my gig.
That's
Love it.
the Chloe Wold way.
Yeah.
I
Not
love
doing
it.
much.
Chloe.
Yep. That's my drag name.
Beautiful. Love that.
So circling back to how you said you were mediocre, you're really not. I was listening to some of your music. You are incredibly talented.
Thank
You have a
you.
wonderful voice. Again, award-winning, Billboard charting. Give yourself some credit, mama.
I mean, I don't know how any of this happened. I worked a day job for, 20 years, mostly in nonprofit, and always made music on the side. I've written songs since I think I wrote my first song when I was 9 years old. And so it's always been part of what I do, but I mostly funneled that energy into church because, like I said, it took a minute to extricate myself. So I was a worship leader, ministry, all that for years, like 20 years. But it was always my little side hustle, and I would get to write my songs for church, and that was how I got my creative energy out. And then, pandemic happened. Yep. And I had a whole bunch of extra time. So that was when I started kind of really diving into drag, which I had, become obsessed with in my late 20s, early 30s. And I had the time to mess around and play. And then I was like, oh, okay, like I could take my love for songwriting, take my love for drag, put them together, see what happens. And I've just been lucky a lot. Like a lot of crazy, weird things have happened where like this MAGA guy came for me on Twitter 2 years ago, and it blew up because he had a huge following. He had like hundreds of thousands of followers, and I was just being cheeky on Twitter back. I was like, yeah, whatever, and it just blew up, and my album ended up skyrocketing to number 1 like within 24 hours. That I'd put it out in the Christian music genre because you can just do that. Yeah, you can just like independent artists. It's literally a drop down menu. You're like, classical, R&B, Christian. Let's do it.
Wonderful.
So I did, and then of course from there it was just like, I mean, every publication ran that headline because it's clickbait.
Drag queen gets number one
tops Christian charts. Yeah, like Rolling Stone, like Newsweek, all of them. It was a crazy couple months, but it enabled me to like start doing it full time, and that's my life now. I just travel around and sing songs in a wig.
That's incredible.
It's lovely.
That's really the dream.
I'm so grateful.
Yeah.
It's the dream, the American dream.
You're living it.
Yeah.
What's it like to have talent in drag? Because I don't know, so I'm just curious if you can tell me to have a natural talent to something, and how does one have that happen?
Right now, she really doesn't have any talent.
Oh
no.
Oh
no, I can barely lip sync. I can barely walk in heels.
But mall drag, honey, come on.
She does an incredible thing where she leans down and touches her ankle.
Yeah, that's my move.
That's the go-to.
Because I'm moderately flexible.
Listen, hey, get it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's what you do. That's what drag is. You just bring your gifts, your skills, your abilities, put it in the drag package and shake it up and see what comes out.
That's true. I am notoriously known for being a slut. I'm good at that.
Excellent.
So that's my talent, I guess.
Yeah, see? Yeah.
I'm doing it.
You were winning that pageant for sure.
yes. The
slut pageant,
the
2025.
Yep. Okay, so grew up in Asheville, North Carolina.
Yeah.
Famously home of the Biltmore estate.
Oh, yes, it is.
Have you been in the pools?
No, because they don't let you in.
I was just wondering. That was like a bait question to see if you were involved in any
I did.
Illuminati behavior, or I don't know what.
Yeah.
Oh, was that an Illuminati reference?
I don't know if it's Illuminati, but there's a whole lure of like something happened in the pool. Like it's very dark.
I don't know if I know this lore.
I love the Biltmore estate. I've been, and it's really wonderful.
We did it in school field trips growing up, and then in high school I worked there during the Christmas season, directing traffic. So
love that.
But I never. I don't know. I mean, my husband and I are season members now, or whatever. So we go, but we've only been in the house once since we moved back.
Okay.
We just go and take the dog and walk the grounds and the gardens because it's so pretty.
Okay. So you still currently live in that area-ish?
Yeah. So born and raised there. And then at 21, I think I moved to the West Coast, and I lived for about 20 years out in like Reno and San Diego, mostly San Diego. And then just moved back 2 years ago. Okay. Because San Diego is America's finest city, but now also America's most expensive city.
Yep.
So we were like, what are we going to do? We're a drag queen and a bartender, and we can't sustain this lifestyle. So we came back to Asheville, and it's been nice, actually. It's because, growing up there, I was so sheltered that I had no concept of... I could have been raised anywhere. That's the thing. Like I had no concept of place or like Asheville as a unique location and what its like culture is like. So moving back as an adult, it's been fun to be like, oh, like my hometown's cool. Like there's it's got a lot going for it, and downtown especially it's just like a safe. It's kind of like you described Eau Claire. It's like a little lovely blue bubble in a state that has gone off the rails otherwise, but so yeah, I really like it, and my husband likes it, which is the most important part because he's from Albuquerque, and he had never been in the Southeast. And so when we were moving back, I was a little nervous, that it was going to be too much culture shock.
Too much humidity too.
Too much humidity, all of it, girl. And I'm on the road most of the time. So I really I leave him at home with my mom and I'm like, bye, have fun. But fortunately, he's really kind of fallen for it too. So
good.
Yeah.
Back to when you were a kid. So when did you realize that you were queer, gay, limp wrist, however you want to describe it?
Fancy?
Yes. Lighten your loafers, sugar in the tank.
All that. I mean, early for sure. I didn't have the language because, again, so sheltered that I didn't even know what queerness was, that queerness was a thing, that there were other gay people. It took a long time to even realize that. Mm-hmm. But I knew something was off by I would say 3rd grade, 4th grade. I was like, okay, I'm not quite like all the other boys. Like what's happening? And that was, I started masking and adapting and doing all the things really early to make sure I fit in. And because that's the thing about evangelical cult culture. It's, I call it a cult because there are consequences for not conforming, and the consequences are severe. At least they were in my place. I watched a girl got pregnant in our church. She was probably, 15 or 16 when I was 12. And they had this public, not even during the actual church service itself, it turned into a public shaming of her and her family too. She wasn't in there. They wouldn't, she was not allowed to come to the early service anymore, which is the communion service. So they kicked her out of that, and then they talked about her during that, and her family was sitting right there, and they're kind of participating in it too because they're trying to own the blame for their daughter, and it was just this really horrifying, terrible experience to watch that unfold. And I was like, okay, I never want that to happen. So I will do everything I possibly can to make sure that no one clocks me, So
that's intense.
It is intense.
That's a lot.
It is intense. It is what, still drives me to this day. Like that kind of culture is so, is language okay on our podcast today?
Oh yeah.
It's so fucked up that, I knowing that there are still kids coming up in places like that who have that sense of knowing that they're not, the same as the world that they're being asked to conform to, and knowing that those consequences are there, like it's so upsetting. It's so frustrating. And so, I don't know, all the claims about, drag queens grooming your kids. It's true. It's true. I am here to groom your kids and get them the hell out of that scenario and situation, because I was in that scenario and situation. And, I want to just provide the thing I needed, right? Like if I had seen that there were healthy, happy, hopeful queer adults, I could have known that was an option for me. And I didn't until I was, way too old to, like, I should have known way sooner than my late teens that I could have been a happy person, So
take us through that journey of how you got to that point.
Well, like I said, golden kid, like goody two shoes. I always try to live into that. My school, it was a Christian school. And so like our student government association had like the normal positions of like, president, vice president, secretary. And then we had chaplain. That was like an official SGA position. And I ran for that and got it, so I was like,
I would have ran for that too.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. Like I was like, this is how I do it. Like I would pursue the things that would give me the most ammunition to be like, no, like I'm a good girl. Like I'm a child of God and I'm doing all the right things. And so I just really leaned hard into that persona. And after high school, it was like Christian college, and then like wanting to go into ministry. And I toyed with like seminary. I never actually went to seminary, but mostly because I just was dealing with everything, like college was the first time I came out to somebody. And coming out for me at that time was literally like I couldn't say the words at all. So I literally opened up my Bible to Romans 1 and pointed to the verse where, I can't remember if that's the one that says, God turned them over to their depraved actions or whatever the fucking clobber passage is. But like pointed to the verse and showed it to my best friend. And I was like, this is me. This is what I struggle with. Like that was coming out. Like,
yeah.
So, I mean, a decade, like my 20s were just that. It was just processing. Like initially it was like, okay, well, I struggle with same-sex attraction to, I enrolled in conversion therapy, like self-enrolled, Oh. No one made me do that. I sought out the organization. It's called Exodus, which doesn't exist anymore, thankfully, because the founders came out and were like, yeah, it didn't work for us either. we're still gay too.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I did that for 5 years. And then I spent another several years just living, like after I realized conversion therapy wasn't going to work, I'm not going to turn straight magically. So I was like, well, I guess then I have to learn how to live a life with this affliction. So I was like, I'll just be single and celibate for the rest of my life, and I'll get my emotional jollies, in other ways, and just have really deep friendships, Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just like
that asexual lifestyle.
Mm-hmm, beautiful. Yep. Yeah. Yep. When you're not ace, it's not fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I did that for several years. I did try dating women a couple times, always to disastrous effect. And then, I was 28 when I finally was like, I spent my time with the Bible, and like, at the time it still really mattered to me what the Bible had to say about my life. It doesn't so much anymore. Like I still respect it as a work, but it doesn't hold sway over how I live my life. But at the time it did. So I was like, I had to somehow crack that nut and be like, is the Bible actually condemning me, or have I been lied to my whole life? And I mean, obviously, the gatekeepers of that institution are lying to all of us. And the Bible doesn't condemn queerness in any way, shape, or form, especially as we know it, you know, today. So I finally reached that point. I was like, oh, God's not condemning me. I can love myself. It's just these motherfuckers who have been creating this problem for me my whole life. So I finally, you know, got out of the more conservative evangelical world, found progressive Christianity and like inclusive affirming churches and all that. And I started slowly living my best gay life. So yeah, I was a late bloomer in every way, but finally got here.
You bloomed.
I bloomed, baby.
That's what's important.
That's right.
Yeah. How were your friends and family reactions to this? And when you were kind of going through it, were they supportive at all in any way? Or did you kind of have to really lean in on yourself for that?
Yeah. Fortunately, I had a handful of people in my life who, you know, I didn't meet my first out gay person until what, 23 or 4. So I had a handful of friends who like had come into my life by that time. By the time I was 28, like I had a little queer community in addition to my traditional Christian community. And so, yeah, almost everybody in the world I had known from birth, they either just, you know, stopped, like fell off the face of the earth, stopped talking to me, or they like came hard with the correction and the, oh my gosh, we got to save Matthew, which I don't use that name anymore, but, and, so yeah, I was so grateful that I had like chosen family at that point, because they really like held me and got me through it. And I would not have made it without that. You know, like there were definitely like dark days earlier in my life, suicidal thoughts, all of that. And I think if I had tried to, yeah, like leave that world behind without something to fall into, it could have been rough.
Yeah.
Yeah. So very, very grateful for, and those people are still like, that's still my chosen family, you know. They're scattered everywhere, but like my best friend they moved to New Zealand because MAGA country now. But yeah, like that community is so important.
So as someone who grew up in this more Christian lifestyle, and you said finding your chosen family is what really helped you kind of like come to terms and be okay with it. How did you go about finding those people, especially growing up in how big is Asheville?
It's like 60,000 people when I was growing up.
Very similar to our town here.
Yeah, I think it's a little bigger now, but yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing. By that point, I was already on the West Coast. So,
okay.
You know, and in San Diego. So there's a fabulous scene there.
Okay.
Yeah.
The gay Mecca,
that's
one
right.
might call it.
Yeah, Hillcrest, like it's fantastic. So I didn't have to look too hard.
Okay.
Was the good thing. But like the first out gay person who I met was somebody who came to the church. I started a church in San Diego with some people. Like I was a church planter, and that church that we started was really, I was part of it for 5 years. And that was the main time when I was really coming to terms with who I am and coming out. And it was a thing I was like on a journey with the people in our little church. I mean, it was like less than 100 people, you know, it was never anything major. So like we were really intertwined in each other's lives and knew each other really well. And I was like processing all of that stuff really publicly, like in my small groups with people and talking about everything I was going through. And it seemed like everybody was with me. Mm-hmm. So when I came out at 28, like officially, finally, fully like out and proud instead of just like out and ashamed, I kind of expected the church to be there with me, and about half of them were. And then the other half, like, that was when they kind of showed their true colors, and they were like, oh, we've been being nice to you for 5 years as you've been processing this, but now that you're actually like,
now that you're done processing it.
Yes. Yeah. Sorry. We have to draw a line, and you're not allowed to lead worship here anymore. And, so I basically got kicked out of the church that I helped start, and from there it was kind of easy. I fell almost immediately into a very gay church, like had a gay pastor, and met my first boyfriend at that church. And so I just kind of, it was a nice soft landing, like getting kicked out of one community, but immediately finding, like beautiful queer community. And and I dove in. Like I was like, I'm going to volunteer for Pride. Like I basically took all of my like good girl energy, good girl Christian energy growing up and just like transitioned it into, I'm going to be good girl gay Christian energy now. And just be like, I'm going to do all the things and volunteer for all the things. And like one year I was in charge of the trash team at Pride, so like we would go around and just pick up the trash everywhere. And
important role.
It's got to happen. Somebody's got to keep things clean. So yeah, I mean, I feel super lucky that I was where I was at the time that I was there, and it all just was no love lost, yeah. So I didn't even really have to like feel all that hateful about what had happened to me, because I was just kind of enamored with my new life and the new people I was meeting, and just the freedom to finally be myself. It was actually pretty joyful time.
Yeah. I grew up pretty Christian too. And, after college went and did mission work and stuff. And, I like really struggled with a point in my life where I was like, had one foot in the door with my Christian lifestyle and then one foot in the door with my queer lifestyle. And I was kind of very the same way, where I was like, I had all these friends and these people that I had built this Christian lifestyle with, and not knowing how they were going to react to this. Like, I'm doing drag and I'm very gay in this lifestyle. So like, I felt like I had a few years of like limbo of like, who's going to come with me on this journey and who's not going to come with me on this journey. And I think that's a story that a lot of people can relate to, because I feel like so many queer kids grow up in Christian lifestyles, and especially like, I don't know how to explain this, because I always say like, church really is for gay people. Like, it's such like a queer thing of like glitter, rainbows, dresses. Like, it's such a queer thing that it's like, the kids who are like excelling and thriving in church are usually queer kids, Like,
Sunday school is just like arts and crafts, like playground, right?
Yeah.
Like that's, and so absolutely. And then like, even there's like this other impulse for, I think, queer people for why we resonate with it so much. It's because like, well, I mean, again, just like leaning into my own story, like you have to, if you're gonna be safe in that space, you have to like perform and you have to conform and you have to, there's this performative element to it, which, I mean, every queer person knows what it's like to mask and figure out how to navigate the world when we don't feel safe. And I mean, your whole life is unsafe.
Yep.
So you get really good at figuring out what people expect of you. And so, yeah, like, and I think there's just a sincerity like for queer people who come up in church, because we genuinely, at least for me, again, I don't want to speak for everybody, but for me, like I genuinely believed what I was being told, right? I had not developed the suspicious bone in my body yet. And so I genuinely believed that when I was told that, gay people won't make it into heaven and this is how you have to live your life, I was like, okay, oh gosh, I got to do it. So what does it take to do that? And I genuinely believed that the only way I was going to be able to do that was with the help of God. Mm-hmm. And so my pursuit of God and my relationship with God, as they like to refer to it, was like as genuine as it gets. And that's what I found to be true about so many like queer ex-evangelicals and ex-Christians and things like that. It's like we were the ones who believed it with our whole hearts and gave it our whole body, soul, mind, just like God asked us to do. And that's why we realized, sometimes we're the only people in our communities who realized that this thing falls short. Like, it does not serve us. It does not meet our very human needs. Because for everybody else, it's like less of a, I don't know. I just knew so many of my friends who were like not nearly as committed to the faith as I was, but who are still in it today, because it's just like easy. It's a cultural easy thing for them.
Yep.
And they're not being asked to change any radical part of who they are in order to conform. So they've never had to question it. Yep. So, yeah.
Yeah. I always talk about, how like, I'll make like jokes about Christianity, just trauma based, but I'm always like, well, you didn't read the Bible because you wouldn't know that because you're a Christian,
Perfect.
Yes. That's just like always my viewpoint on it. It's like, because they have never had to understand what it is to question things and to feel different. It's just like, they just get to live their lives and not ever have to like think of anything different than that. So it's not, I don't want to say it's not a struggle. They just don't struggle with those certain things, you know, and everyone has their own different things they go through. But yeah, it's just always so performative and we're always putting on a thing. And put any queer kid in charge of arts and crafts time, they're going to thrive, you know, baby. Like give me I have to bake some communion bread today. Yes. I'm all about it. Yeah, make the peanut butter and jellies. They're going to be the best ones at the potluck.
Y'all bake your communion bread?
It was a thing you did in
you order in bulk in Catholic churches.
Sunday school, you know.
Little wafers.
Yes. I guess I've never heard it put quite that way, that like queer kids growing up in like that evangelical fundamentalist kind of environment, they are more prone to believing harder because they want to get quote unquote fixed.
Yeah.
And that explains why so many queer people who grow up in that situation fall so hard out of religion, spirituality, Christianity.
Yeah.
So I guess are you still, you know, a believer? You still consider yourself a Christian?
This is the question, right? And depending on the day you ask me, I'm probably gonna have a different answer. Some days I feel like I've tried to leave this thing so hard. Like there's been moments in my life where I literally like made the decision. I'm like, I'm not going to go to church. Like I'm not going to do it. And then, you know, like something will happen or whatever. I'll get pulled in. Usually it's like, or at least since I came out at 28, it's always been like, there's some like lovely affirming pastor or, you know, kind person who like is asking or inviting me into what they're doing to like help make their church more affirming or welcoming to queer people. And I'm like that, you know, like, yes, like I wanted to be involved in all of that. So I think if I have an impulse to retain that label Christian, it's pretty much, well, I think there's two reasons that I feel compelled in that way. The first is just what we've already said, like there's always going to be more queer kids coming up in those spaces, and somebody's got to be there to like fight the good fight, right? And just elbow our way in and say, no, you belong here as you are. You don't have to listen to all this BS. Like God loves you, all that. And that I think that drives so much of my work, like my music, all of that. And the other impulse is just that I was talking with somebody, a friend the other day actually, and she was like, I just love that like in Jewish culture, like you can be culturally Jewish, you know, and no one questions your bona fides. Like you don't have to like be the Orthodox, like doing all the like religious parts of being Jewish, but you're still just as Jewish kind of thing. And with Christianity, like there's a big part of Christianity that just won't have that, right? Like if you don't believe the right things, you're not a Christian, period. And so I kind of almost want to advocate for like the cultural Christian movement, you know, where like, okay, no, like I no longer believe in the bodily resurrection of Jesus Christ. I no longer subscribe to penal substitutionary atonement. I no longer like think that Jesus is the only way to heaven, but like culturally, it's the language that I will always speak. Like it's in my bones from birth, you know. It's just as much a part of my heritage as being an American, you know, like as anything. And so, like, why do I have to surrender and sacrifice all of that just because you don't like my particular values or my particular beliefs? Like, you think I don't belong because, I mean, at the end of the day, like I still look at the stories of like who Jesus was in the world and what he was trying to do. And I'm like, yeah, like I kind of want to be about that too. He was a radical, like clearly some sort of sexual fluidity.
12 men in one room.
Come on, like 12 men for 3 years. Like
12 men, that's a Saturday for me.
You did win the slut award. Hey, the slut pageant. But yeah, it's like everything that Jesus was after, I'm also after. Like I would love to see a world where justice flows like a river. And so why should I have to like leave all of it behind? You know, some of it's important to me, like the music, especially like all those songs I grew up singing, like still matters to me. And community, the whole point of religion, right? Like is both community with us and then community with the divine, whatever you call that. And I don't think people should have to sacrifice and surrender all of that, or like join some new religion and start from scratch. Like if you already have this thing that doesn't condemn you for all the reasons that they say it did, and like, let's just keep it going.
Yeah,
So.
I think Christianity in like a weird way has like a very linear path to queerness as well, of like, what do we do as queer people? Like, we find people who are similar to us, we build community with them, we find people who support us, we find people who have similar interests with us, and we find family within that. And that's what Christianity ultimately is about too, of like finding your community, finding where you excel and do that, and you shine in that, and they build you up in that. And so I think like that's why a lot of times so many queer people have like this weird relationship with their Christian past and their Christianity, of like, sometimes you could have really great experiences with it because, you know, like for you, music was a huge thing for you, and you were able to shine and use that talent and purpose there at church. Like for me, I loved doing like Sunday school and teaching and helping and being a part of the missions and doing that stuff. And so like, I do miss those aspects of it because it was like really a place for me to shine with like my talents specifically. But yeah, I don't miss the like feeling condemned, feeling ashamed, feeling like I was living a double life, feeling those secrets. And so it is hard to leave that behind. And I even have found myself more recently to wanting to explore that, because I do miss those experiences and those relationships and those things. I found them in different ways now in my queer community. Yeah. So I don't like as much feel like I need it, but I miss it. And I'm like, what is it that I'm missing? Is it the teachings? Is it the community? Is it the different things? And so it's like, it leaves this like gray area that I want to explore because I don't know what it is yet.
Yeah. I always loved just the collective force of people moving in the same direction. Right.
Yeah.
And that's what I've found equally in the queer community. Like you just said, like that we all have, you know, we don't agree on everything, obviously nothing's a monolith, but like, we have similar like overarching goals for people, which is basically just like dignity, right? Dignity, respect, get to live your life safely without fear, all of those things. And church, if nothing else, like, I mean, the organization is top shelf, baby. Like they know how to organize, they know how to get shit done. They know how to change laws, obviously. And so, yeah, there's power to like people putting our intentions together and then like working together to get shit done. And yeah, I don't go to church anymore either. I am in churches a lot because there are these, you know, progressive communities that love the idea of bringing in the Christian drag queen. So, but my rule now is if I'm in a church, I'm getting paid.
Love that.
Smart. I did, 22 years. I did it for free. You know, volunteered in every possible way, but mostly with music. And there were only 2 years where I had an actual job, like where I got a paycheck from a church. Everything else was on my own time. So I'm like, it's reparations now, bitch.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm coming into your sanctuary, like I have all these triggers that I'm managing. I have trauma that I have, you know, am managing through all kinds of ways. And so you're going to pay me. You're going to pay me to enter those doors. And I do it gladly because, like I said, I know that there's going to be kids in that room who will benefit from seeing what I have to bring. So, yeah.
Okay, so I do want to get into like how you got into performance and drag and your queer lifestyle and things like that. But before I do that, we've had some really great conversations about religion, and I know that can be a lot for some people to swallow. So let's have a little fun. Tell me, what's your most controversial opinion?
That was coming.
My most controversial opinion
comes every episode.
Oh, wow.
What's going to get you canceled today?
Oh, canceled.
I'm just kidding.
Let's see.
No, if you have a controversial opinion you want to share and just stand on it, we love that.
I don't know if y'all have ever thought about Italians deeply, but I'm just kidding.
Okay, I was like, I'm ready to
very
think.
Deeply about Italians personally. I got some thoughts.
I got thoughts about Italians. My friend's a musician, and like just has this bit that they did that like ended up going way too far because they like took it online and like people didn't get the nuance of it. But they were basically like they would take like transphobic statements and then replace it with Italian just to like show people how absurd the argument was. But then people started thinking that they were legitimately like
hating on
racist
Italians.
against Italians, and so it was not good. So sorry, that was the first thing that came from.
Oh, incredible.
As you said that. I don't know. I'm definitely like I'm like Fox Mulder. Like I want to believe in like everything. Like aliens for sure, ghosts, yes, mama, like other dimensions,
oh my
the
God,
multiverse, like all the
friends.
Yeah.
Have you read John Keel?
No, who's John Keel?
You got to read him.
Okay. Putting it on the list.
It's like you were turning chance on
Does
with
John
that.
have audiobooks? Because that's the only way I read anymore.
Probably. I don't know. He was a paranormal author and investigator in the 80s.
Oh, nice.
He's the one who cracked, or 70s, 80s. He's the one that cracked the Mothman case.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
He wrote the Mothman prophecies.
Oh, okay. Got it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm at the same boat.
Yeah.
Love ghosts and stuff.
I want to believe. I want to believe it's all there. Something's happening behind the veil, all the things. Yeah.
Do we think that comes from a desire that there be more to life than just the human existence?
I just think aliens are sexy. Just kidding.
I agree.
I don't know. I mean, it's like I feel like I don't know. I've always been drawn to like, even though I was super raised, really like my music was restricted, movies, everything. Like I could only like watch like Dr. Dobson, the Focus on the Family. Like they would take movies and they would edit everything out of them and then they would resell them to Christian families. And my mom had the subscription, so like that was all I was allowed to listen to or read or watch or whatever. But we did end up like as a family, like mom too, like we really got into X-Files as kids.
Interesting.
And it was appointment television, and so I don't know. I've always been drawn to like the otherworldly, and honestly, maybe that's part of Christianity that's attractive too. It's like the whole thing is paranormal. It's really all miracles and God intervening and like donkeys talking and water flowing from rocks and people walking on water and healing and all of it. It's like, I mean, that's some mystical shit. And so yeah, I think I've just always been drawn to it, and now I'm married to a partner who is like the crystal queen, like, and tarot readings, and he loves all of it. So
are you the Dana Scully or the Fox Mulder of the relationship?
Definitely gosh, are we both Fox Mulder then, I guess? Because neither of us is really challenging the other on our beliefs. We're like, oh, you think that? Oh, cool. Like, tell me more.
That makes sense.
I believe it too now. Yeah. So no, there is no Dana Scully in our relationship. But she was hot though. God.
She was.
Gillian Anderson, to this day, I would love her. Love her. Yeah.
Is there a certain type of alien that makes you hornier than another?
I love aliens like Sigourney Weaver.
Okay, like from the movie, not like a typical like what you'd think with like the large head, skinny body.
No, they're fine.
Those are called the short grays, by the way.
Okay.
So you're into xenomorphs.
Yeah, I love a xenomorph.
Got it.
Yeah,
can relate.
What?
Can relate.
Oh, can relate. Yeah. I mean, it's like there's nothing sexier than that beast. Like she is in charge. She knows what she wants. She has the tools to get the job done. Like I love her.
Yeah.
I also love Sigourney Weaver though, so it's hard to know who to root for in those movies.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
Love that. What a wild ride we're on today.
We are, aren't we? Xenomorphs are sexy.
Yeah. H.R. Geiger, the guy who designed them, Geiger, he would love that you're saying that xenomorphs are sexy.
Oh, good. I have some things to learn from you. I'm learning names. Like, this is good.
Yeah, I don't have any of that. I'm sorry. I'm just here to be mediocre. So
listen, we all serve our purpose.
She's the beauty. I'm the brains.
Barely doing the beauty.
Yeah.
But
barely doing the brains.
I'm trying my hardest here.
I love it.
Speaking of beauty, what was your first introduction to drag?
I have tried to remember this, and I think it was one of two things. Well, I mean, there was like Doubtfire, Robin Williams, Mrs. Doubtfire, that kind of stuff was in the ether. I feel like I was allowed to watch Mrs. Doubtfire as a kid. But the first time I like saw it and realized what I was seeing was the movie Sordid Lives. You know this one?
I don't think I do for some reason.
So, okay, this is your homework then. I think it's on Hulu. Sordid Lives, it's written by a playwright and creative person, Del Shores, but it starred Leslie Jordan.
Oh.
And it's set in Texas. It's this campy, like, cult gay classic, film. Set in Texas, and Leslie Jordan plays a character named Brother Boy, who has been put in an institution by his own family against his will because he likes to dress up like Tammy Wynette. And lip sync. So there's a scene in the film where he's in the hospital where he's being kept against his will, and he walks into like the cafeteria and all the fellow patients are there, and it's just chaotic, and everybody's in their own world, and he's in full head to toe Tammy regalia. Pushes play on a little boombox, serves a little lip sync to this gross hospital cafeteria. But by the end of it, all eyes are on him. Like, he's just like calmed everybody down. All the attention's on, so I watched that scene and I was like, this is magic. Like, what is going on? What is happening? And so it was Leslie Jordan, I think, that introduced me to like drag as an art form and as something that, you can use to like connect with people. So since that, I just, my brother actually took me to my first drag show in Asheville when I was visiting at the time. I hadn't moved back. This was in my 20s, mid 20s maybe. And that was my first experience at a like live drag show. And I was like, whoa. And then when I really got into it was, in San Diego, just my husband and I, we weren't married yet, but we started going to, he worked in the industry. He's a bartender, a brewer at the world's first gay brewery, Hillcrest Brewing Company. And so there were just drag shows, everywhere all the time. And we started going, and I got really obsessed with this one queen, Miriam T, who is just a cranky old bitch, as I know now, but at the time I was like, oh, she's so beautiful and I love her, and she like does it all, but like the first time I saw her, she was hosting a Harry Potter trivia. This was before we knew the source, and so I just like I still have my picture that I took with her that night, and I was like, this was the moment where I was like, drag is something that I like. And I didn't know how much I was going to end up liking it, but and from there it was just the snowball rolling down the hill. I just couldn't get enough. And I had gone before pandemic, I had like done Halloween drag and gone to a couple house parties and drag, that kind of thing, but just I don't have the time, like who has time to learn a new skill until the world shuts down. And then I did.
So you're a pandemic queen, huh?
I'm a pandemic queen, baby. Quarantine queen.
I love that.
Quarantine queen.
Wow. I just assumed you would be like a more seasoned, just how you present yourself and things. I just assumed that you've been doing it for quite a while.
You're very polished. A lot of baby queens could learn from you.
Yeah. Do you want to call any out? Do you have any baby queens that you have beef with online?
Baby queens? Who do I have beef with? I don't have beef with anybody I know. I just have beef with like, drag race queens when they act shitty, but I don't know them. So
yeah. Do you have any specifically you want to call out right now by name?
You're trying to get the ratings.
We'll tag them on TikTok.
Trying to get the clickbait from me. No, I appreciate that. Thank you. Cause, I feel like I have like just put my whole ass into drag and trying to figure it out. But it's like 5 years. Awesome. I've been doing it 5 years. But also like everything we've talked about so far, like the whole performance thing, like I've been doing that my whole life.
Yeah. It just kind of goes hand in hand.
Both just like as to survive, but then also like I've been making music. I was a theater kid for sure, like all the things. So any chance I had to be on stage, I took it, and so it just kind of was a nice little.
This is maybe a controversial opinion.
Yes.
Take a shot.
I think the reason why I thought that is because I do feel like queens like pandemic and that have started around pandemic and post pandemic, is that correct? Yes. Are like sometimes kind of lazy. And like, I feel like because of social media and things now, like people just see like perfection right away. So they think it's going to happen immediately.
Yeah.
Or like pre-pandemic queens, I feel like had to kind of go through the notions of like learning and realizing it takes work. Cause I get a lot of people that ask me like, I want to learn how to do drag and I want to do it. And I'm like, cause I love drag. I'm like, I love it. I will teach it to anyone who genuinely wants to know. But I find people just don't want to be fucking ugly anymore nowadays. And they don't want to fucking learn and realize it takes so much time, so much money and so much effort to like really make it happen. And I'm like, listen, like you're going to have to go out and look ugly some. Like you're not going to come out. Like I'm not going to paint you every weekend and you look flawless. Like bitch, do it. Like come out and look ugly. I was busted for years. I still am partially busted, you know?
Partially.
It's the
listen.
It is the only way. Like doing is the only way. There's no fast track, and I mean, if there is, then yeah, everybody would be on Drag Race, right? Like, I for my part, like I started online, you know, because it was quarantine and pandemic and everything. We happened to live with two of our best friends. My husband and I lived with this couple, and they're both musicians, and so we just started live streaming every week like most musicians did during pandemic. We just, you know, turned on the camera and logged onto Facebook and just started a live stream. And ours was, we did cover songs. We would make a cocktail, have a theme each week and pick a whole bunch of songs that fit that theme and just sing them for our friends and, you know, interact with people in the chat and everything. That's how we got through pandemic. But I started pretty quickly, like within 2 or 3 weeks of starting to do that, I started showing up to those in drag. And that was like where I was crusty and busted and learned to do all the things. And all of that is like still readily accessible on the internet, you know. And if you scroll deep enough in my feed, you're going to find those early pictures. Like I didn't delete them or anything because I agree.
We'll post a few here now for you.
Yeah, go find them. They are.
Link in the episode description.
As hell, mama. But I love that. I love looking back at her. I love being like, oh, she thought she was it. You know, like you couldn't have told her otherwise. And you need that. You need that little bit of just like Delulu. Like,
oh, for sure.
I'm because otherwise you won't ever actually get to the point where you can be a little more polished or a little more whatever your goal is. Not that polish is always the goal. It doesn't have to be, but yeah.
I feel like the thing that a lot of new queens or performers, I shouldn't just say queens, performers, male entertainers, drag kings, whatever they want to identify as, already have the Delulu. They just need to put the practice behind the Delulu.
I feel like the internet era, because I feel like pre-Drag Race and all that and pre-pandemic, it was the same of like no one wants to go out and look crusty and busted, but like when you were starting, you thought you were the hottest thing on the block.
Oh, I was.
Yes.
Christian mother, the house down,
good
boots,
woman, boots
cardigans,
mama.
Always a little bit of skin showing. Leave them wanting more.
A little shoulder,
that's what women ankle. Do. Yeah.
I feel like it's not that the baby queens don't do that. It's that they don't want to be seen in public or on the internet now because perception is so much more important.
Yeah. And like cringe. That's everybody's biggest fear.
Everyone's
is
so
cringe.
afraid of being cringe.
Girl, you gotta.
You want to know the best way to get over being cringe?
How?
Start a podcast.
That's
great.
True. It does help. Yeah.
Start a podcast and talk about your sex life sometimes.
Ooh, that is cringe, mama.
Yeah.
I did that. I mean, this is one of the reasons I was so quick to say yes is I have deep respect for the podcast journey because I had one for 5 years called Heathen.
Okay.
And it was kind of where I did so much of my deconstruction is now the word that people use when you're talking about like leaving, you know, your inherited beliefs behind or whatever. But at the time I was like, that wasn't really a buzzword. And I was just like, I think I'm just an apostate. I think I'm like, I'm a heretic. So I just called it Heathen. And
hell yeah.
Yeah. And for five seasons, we did, I started it by myself and then eventually brought in another co-host. And then by the end we had 4 of us who were co-hosting it. And it was great. Like it was an awesome way to meet people. We had such interesting conversations. We called them sexisodes, episodes where we specifically talk about sex and purity culture and like coming out of it and all that. And we would have like sex therapists come on and like tell us what was wrong with us.
Oh my God.
We had a tarot reading, you know, we just did anything. We were like, let's just like do all the things that we were always so afraid to do in the Christian world because we thought that God was going to zap us with a lightning bolt.
Yeah.
You know? So, I love the podcast journey.
That sounds incredibly healing.
It was. Actually. It really was. It really, really was. It was actually how I mean, my premise for the podcast was like, people kept asking me, because this was after I had come out and, you know, I was like kind of railing against the church publicly. And they were like, well, okay, you no longer believe all this stuff. What do you believe? And I couldn't answer it. I was like, I don't know what I believe. I just know that I don't believe all this bullshit I was handed. And so it was kind of I set out to answer that question. What do I believe? And I just wanted to talk to people from all sorts of spiritual traditions or non-spirit, no atheist background, and just figure out, how does everybody else like get through their lives? And my answer at the end of it was that like, I don't believe in belief anymore. Like I don't believe in the necessity of having a creed and being able to check all those boxes and say, I believe this and this and this. Like for me, no shade to people who do call themselves believers or love to believe in things. And like I said, like there are things I want to believe in, obviously, but I don't put the stock in having the right beliefs anymore that I used to, because at the end of the day, a belief isn't true. Mm-hmm. That's why we have to call it a belief. It might be true. We hope it's true, but it's not provable. And that's the whole point of having faith, right? And so for me, I'm like, that doesn't really do it for me. I don't like believing in something doesn't get me anywhere. I like practice. I like spiritual practice. So like, what can I do with my body to physically like move myself into a space that feels like healing or whole or whatever? Is it yoga? Is it meditation? Is it communal practices? Is it like going on a shamanic drum journey to meet your like ancestors? I mean, I've done like all that stuff on the podcast, and so that was where I ended up coming out and being like, I don't really care what anybody believes, least of all myself. I care what we're doing and what our practice looks like. So
I love that.
Yeah,
that's really awesome.
Yeah. You never know where your podcast journey is going to lead you.
Okay, speaking of belief, and you want to believe, you grew up in the sticks.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see anything spooky?
Yes.
What'd you see? Tell me everything, please.
I do think there was an alien who lived in our woods as a kid. And he was green and red. He had like red tummy. I know.
Chance has never been so horny on this couch
really
just
got
now.
your attention
Yeah.
love it. No, and I would tell, I mean, I know I embellished these stories, but there was a point at which I feel like as a child I saw him, and then I just started like making up stories about him to scare my younger siblings. So he had this whole lore of like
incredible,
like which trees he would inhabit and which trees you had to avoid. But I mean, I don't know. I clearly saw something as a kid. I don't know that my imagination was that like big to be able to just, do
you remember that?
Conjure up this.
Do you remember the first time you saw him?
Yeah, I was scared.
Tell me everything.
Well, I mean, I was just in the woods by myself. We lived on 3.5 acres, and the goats would roam. And so, we'd go play with the goats or whatever. And I was just by myself, and I just saw him, and he didn't do anything, but he was just like, I just remember like seeing this figure. He was green, red tummy in the distance, kind of moving, behind the trees, like in and out. It wouldn't let me like see him for too long kind of thing. But like, it's almost like he wanted me to know that he was there.
It often does.
Was he a voyeur maybe a little bit?
Maybe. Yeah.
Is he what turned you gay? Maybe?
I've never told this story before.
I got
Did we just crack the code? We cracked the code. Oh my God. The alien turned you gay.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? But I mean, there was something out there in Leicester, North Carolina, hiding out in those woods.
I'm going to do some research. That sounds...
Yeah.
Queer kids are just so cool. I love it.
We do have fun.
Gay people are great.
We are.
So wild in the best ways possible. Like, just truly the world just holds us back from just being amazing.
It does.
Like, could you imagine if like you just felt like fully supported as a kid, and like in that green alien red belly story, like what you could have done with that?
First of all, it would have been a drag look I would have made.
Right. Like,
You
in fact,
still can,
I still
honey.
should.
Yeah.
I'm just now realizing that. Holy
Halloween
shit.
2025.
2025.
yeah. Had a few months to pull it together.
Yes. Oh, I'm kind of excited. No, you're absolutely right. Like, it's my favorite thing from that, which wasn't a great movie to begin with, but that movie that I can't remember what it's called. Billy Eichner It was like the gay rom-com.
Yeah.
Clearly it made a huge impression on all of us. Anyway,
Yeah.
but there was a line in there where they're like sitting around a conference table or something, and somebody goes, "Do you guys remember Straight People?" And I just love that so much because I feel that. Like, I'm like, I have so immersed myself in a world now where like I don't have to feel like the minority anymore.
Yeah.
And just everybody around me is gay, and everybody's gay because we're all coming out now and realizing how fluid everything is, and the restrictions aren't there. And so it's like, you remember Straight People?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I forgot about them.
Yeah. Necessary but boring, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
We just tolerate them now at this point.
Yeah.
How did we get to meet Flamy Grant? How did we get there? Was that the original drag persona? Was she a journey?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I think I had that name before any other names, because there was another name I used for Halloween because I just did like a witch, and her name was Mahulda Dratch. I don't even know
That's
where.
a pretty good one.
I have no idea where I got that
That's
name.
very
Well,
spooky.
Dratch, I know I got it from Rachel Dratch because I love Rachel Dratch.
Okay.
And it just sounded scratchy. You know, it sounds like witchy. But no, Flamy Grant like just came one night when we were watching Drag Race. Chris, my husband, and I were watching Drag Race, and I just turned to him and I was like, "Do you have a drag name? Like, I don't have one. Have you ever thought about it?" And he was like, "Of course I do. Amanda Do It." And I was like, "Oh, that's really good. I want one." But my favorite drag names are always the ones that are, you know, a pun on your diva. You know, the Tina Burner, the Shaka Convict, Delta Work. You know, I love those names. And so I was like, well, I only had one diva growing up because I was only allowed to listen to Christian music, and it was Amy Grant. And I still love Amy Grant. Like, I go to concerts. I'm that kid.
She's coming to Eau Claire soon.
Go see it. It's a good show. She still puts on a good show.
Is she actually?
She is coming to the Pablo, I think.
Huh. What do you know?
Yeah. Her Christmas show at the Ryman in Nashville every year that she does with Vince is like, mwah. I finally got to see it for the first time last year, and so good. Anyway, so yeah, Amy's my diva, and it just kind of fell out of my mouth, Flamy, and Chris laughed, and he doesn't have any like religious trauma baggage whatsoever. He had a very different upbringing from me.
Lucky.
And so I was like, okay, well, if you get it and think it's cute and funny, I know there's a whole generation of like youth group church kids
Oh God, yeah.
who will like immediately like get the reference and love it. And so I literally that night I went and I got the handle on Instagram, and I kept it private like for months and months. I didn't even tell him. I didn't even tell my husband that I had it for a couple months. And that was when I started posting like shitty, you know, early like, she's so cute. Look at her.
Yeah.
And I go back and look at him now, and I'm like, baby.
Oh, I know what I'm doing tonight.
Goodness, you were so delusional. Like, but yeah, I just kind of went with it, and that was another reason I think that like incorporating the music so early and so quickly made sense, because I was like, you know, I was doing an homage. I never tried to do like I wasn't trying to copy Amy or like do her look. I mean, I did a couple times. Like I tried to get a big like 90s curly wig. Like she had the best hair in the 90s. Anyway, but yeah, it was just like, it just kind of fit and made sense. And the ones who know, you know, like if I think if you see my drag name and it resonates with you, then like it tells a whole lot of the story just right there, you know, like, and if you don't, then you just keep walking, which I have had so many people do, like, especially when there's like younger, like Gen Z people in the audience who don't have a religious background. They're like, what is your name? I don't get the reference. And I'm like, I am so old.
Yeah. So when you started doing drag, you said you kind of started out doing stuff online through the pandemic. So then after that, like things started kind of reopening. Did you go into like performing in live spaces? Did you like, were you always a live singer? Did you do like lip syncing?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
And still do very occasionally. I just did a couple months ago. I did my first actual drag, you know, being part of a drag cast in a show in Asheville, and did a lip sync for the first time in probably a year. But yeah, initially that's what I did. I just kind of dove into the San Diego scene, which was super supportive and like incredible. I mean, I know there are scenes that aren't that way, and I've heard all the lovely horror stories about how catty it can get sometimes, but San Diego was not that for me. The queens, including Miriam, who is, cranky old bitch, but she like took me under her wing too. And there were a couple Southern queens who were out there in San Diego. Nadia Simone, one in particular, she was there on my the first show I ever did, which was a brunch, Sunday brunch cabaret thing. And she just was like, baby, you get out there and no matter what happens, you give them a show. If you forget your lyrics, just twirl and keep going, girl. She had that kind of energy. And I just, I loved it. I loved being part of that San Diego scene. And honestly, it's probably the thing I miss the most.
Yeah.
Because now I tour on the road by myself all the time, which I love. I'm an introvert at heart. So I like all the downtime. But I do miss being part of a community of drag performers.
Yeah.
So that's the downside about doing it the way I do it now, which I don't know that I'll do it this way forever. But right now it's what's working, it's what's paying the bills, and I'm having a good time. So I miss a good lip sync. I liked to do the Broadway numbers and the comedy numbers, and nothing that would require too much physicality or dancing, and definitely no death drops, because I'm past those days, mama. But that's the thing too, where you said, imagine if I had been supported from the youngest of ages, I would have had a season when I could have done that, been the queen and
flip-flopping all over the floor.
Yeah, that's my season I'm in right now.
Good, true.
Do it.
Yeah, I'm known as a really big dancer in town.
Your debut album, Bible Belt Baby, #1 Billboard Christian music chart, correct?
Well, #1 on iTunes, number 20 on Billboard.
Okay. Chart topping still.
Yeah.
You said you got picked up in publications, all that. What was the general reaction to that? And what was your reaction to that reaction, if that makes sense?
Yeah. The general reaction was really across the spectrum. Well, not even across the spectrum. It was two ends of a spectrum, right? So there were people who were like, a drag queen in my Christianity? I don't think so. I got so much negative feedback, specifically online, the trolling.
Of course.
Although, it was kind of in the ether too. There were pastors who dedicated a whole sermon to me. This one guy, Greg Locke in Tennessee, who's kind of a figure in that world. I pulled so many clips from it because
it's the lion shirt guy.
The lion shirt guy, right? He goes, Flamy Grant, and I'm like, that is the best clip anybody could have ever given me. Thank you so much, sir.
Just free advertising.
Yeah. And there were podcasts about it. People were just talking about it. Other Christian musicians, John Cooper, who still fronts a band called Skillet, which was a big deal back in the day.
Yeah.
He hates me. Zoe Girl, do you remember Zoe Girl? They were a girl group, Christian Spice Girls or whatever. One of the members of that, she went on a little rant about me. God, who else? Anyway, lots of people who are consider themselves the gatekeepers of Christian music,
Mm-hmm.
Not happy. But that's the beauty of the 2020s and independent music. And you can just like I said, drop down menu, baby. I can be a Christian musician if I want. And then the flip side obviously was and the part that, had me crying for days reading people's comments was just oh my God, I had no idea that this could be a possibility, or that, this almost makes me want to go back to church. And I was like, I'm not trying to make y'all go back to church, girl. Listen to the lyrics. But, there was a really positive response that is still fueling my career to this day. Like I said, those progressive communities, progressive churches are still bringing me in, introducing me to their congregations. And
are you tithing your 10% of what you make? That's what I need to know.
Well, yes, actually, because I work with an organization called, thank you for bringing this up. What a lovely segue. Campaign for Southern Equality. So they're based in Asheville, and they're a nonprofit that's queer and trans led. And they do, I mean, they've, especially historically, they're 15 years old. Historically, they've just kind of done a lot of work just trying to make life better and easier for queer people in the South. But here in the past 3-ish years, almost all of their energy has been turned to fighting, the bans on healthcare for trans youth. First, just in the South, and now in any state that has, legislation in place, which is over half of the states now. So they work in every state that has that legislation in place, and they work directly with families by providing grants. So that they can travel to places where they can get the healthcare they need. They do like peer support groups, helping people navigate the healthcare systems, which, it's different, not even state to state, sometimes city to city. Like, it can just be really complex and confusing. So they just do awesome work.
What's the name of it again?
Campaign for Southern Equality. And the program is called Trans Youth Emergency Project. And you can support it by going to any of my social media and clicking the link in bio, or just going to my website. And there's a little Flamy donation page that you can donate to. But I take them on the road with me. I talk about them at my shows. I have a little donation box on the merch table. And so we've been supporting them since June of last year. I need to actually get in touch with them and figure out an updated number, but I'm betting we're over 10,000 at this point. We were getting pretty close last time I checked in. So yeah,
awesome.
We'll put a link in the episode description to some of that stuff. So.
Yay. Campaign for Southern Equality. We love you.
Have you ever heard from Amy Grant herself?
Not directly.
Okay.
But I've talked to so many people at this point who are in her circles. Cause I mean, my job is weird. I'm in the drag world. I'm in the like progressive Christian world. Mm-hmm. And then I'm also in this folk music world, which is its own thing that I didn't even know about 5 years ago. Like, and that's actually been where so much of my career has really like rooted, is with like folk festivals and the conferences and gatherings for folk musicians. It's a strong, tight-knit world, and everybody knows everybody. And so now I know so many people who know like Amy and Vince. And the first one that really blew my mind was somebody came through my merch line at a show in Nashville, bought 2 vinyl and had me sign one for them. And then they were like, will you sign this one to Amy? And I was like, Amy who? You don't want me to say anything? And he was like, Amy Grant. I was like, what? So he's like, yeah, I know her. I'm going to take it to her. And I had covered one of her songs on that record too. So I like shakily signed. I don't remember what I wrote on it. But a couple days later, he sent me a text and a screenshot of like her response saying, thank you for the, thanks for the record. It was, she didn't say anything other than thank you, but right. I was like, oh my God, Amy knows who I am. Like, my vinyl's in her house, or at least briefly it was before she threw it away. So that happened. I've met like members of her team, like her management and stuff like that. And I feel pretty confident that we're moving in a direction where like something will happen.
Something will happen.
Whether I get to just meet her, I like, that would be enough for me. But my God, I would die to like collab in any way, like sing with her or just share a stage or something. Like I would die happy at that point. So
do you hear that, Amy Grant and your team?
Amy,
reach out. Is there anything else in particular you wanted to hit on while we're here?
No, just if you've resonated with anything, then come to a show. That's where the magic happens. I love the live shows. That's why I do this job. So I tour nationally. So chances are I'll be within a couple hours of you at some point. So come to a show and I'll see you there.
And then before we wrap things up, what advice would you give to a little queer kid, any queer kid who's maybe struggling with their queerness and religion and that upbringing?
I feel like you're RuPaul holding up the picture of my younger self right now. I mean, the world is just so much bigger than any of us can possibly fathom. And the people around you who are making it hard for you to like know yourself and express yourself and be who you really know yourself to be in your heart, right? a lot of them are doing their best. They really are. A lot of them think that they have your best interests at heart. And there's just things they don't know. There's just stuff they don't know. And guess what? You get to be the person to teach them that stuff. And it's not always going to be easy. It's not always going to be clean. It'll get a little messy sometimes, but at the core of it, just know that there is always going to be a community for you. There's always a place for you, whether it's on a couch like this or in a church that can affirm who you are. You will find your people. You will find your place. Don't lose hope. Hang on. And worst case scenario, send me a message, baby. Okay? I'm here for you. Okay? We love you.
Love that.
Well said.
Yes.
And then second question is, where can people find you on the interwebs?
FlamyGrant.com or at Flamy Grant on any of the socials except for that one, that billionaire one. We're not on there anymore. We left that one behind.
Are we on Blue Sky?
I'm on Blue Sky. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, just Flamy Grant. And I mean, my favorite's Instagram. We hate Zuck, and I'm trying not to give him any of my money anymore, but I still like that one because it's pretty and pictures. I like scrolling pretty pictures. So,
anything you want?
Yeah. Take a look at Chance right now. Envision him at 15 years old. And would you have maybe kissed him if you ran into him?
Christ.
At 15?
Yeah, you're 15, he's 15.
Am I 15 in like an ideal world, or the actual 15-year-old?
The actual 15-year-old you.
No, but I would have wanted to.
Okay.
I would have run away screaming in fear, but I would have definitely wanted to.
I was hot when I was 15.
Hey.
I mean, you're hot at 40 too.
Come on. Give yourself some credit, baby.
40? Bitch. Oh. I'm 29.
Help me. I'm right in the middle of this feud. Someone come save me. I was going to say your skin's way too good for 40.
Thank you.
But it's not that great for 29.
No, it's because I smoke almost a pack of there right now. Flamy Grant, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank y'all.
It has been a pleasure.
I really appreciate it. This has been a treat. Oh, wait. I have something for you before we go.
Oh.
I brought you both a little... I can't do this one-handed. A little Flamy Grant.
Oh my God.
Prayer candle.
Oh,
that is iconic.
Da-da-da.
Incredible.
So you can light that and set an intention, or, just like curse your enemies, whatever you want to do with it.
That is so cute.
That is amazing. I actually almost wanted merch done like this too, with my face on it.
Isn't it fun?
That is incredible.
It's my favorite merch. I love it so much.
Yeah,
that's incredible. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's so sweet.
Thanks for having me, y'all.
I love that.
Yeah, love it.
Okay, bye.
Small Town Big Gays is hosted by Travis Gorell and me, Chance Smith. Our music is 1am by TYB. You can check out his music. Links are in the episode description. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at STBG Pod. Find us on Facebook if you're a Facebook person. Email us at smalltownbiggays@gmail.com. And for more shit from me, Chance, go to strangehavens.com.
It's been nice to